As the Syrian conflict drags on, thousands of foreign fighters are joining jihadist rebels against President Assad. The lion's share still come from Jordan, Saudi Arabia and Tunisia, but the numbers of hot-headed youngsters from Europe ready to take up arms there are surging. Let's now take a look at figures. According to the International Center for the Study of Radicalization, there could now be nearly 11,000 individuals from over 70 nations on the ground in Syria, and almost 2,000 of those are from Western Europe. That's a staggering 18% of the entire foreign rebel population in the country. The main contributors of jihadist recruits from the continent are France and Britain. Together they account for more than 700 people. The next states in supply line for radical brigades are Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands. But it's not just about the numbers being up. They're also getting increasingly younger, sometimes only 15 or 16 years old. Just recently, 2 teenage girls of Bosnian origin vanished from their homes in Austria to join the war, as Peter Oliver reports.
Well, what we're seeing right now is in the latest spate of people from Europe coming to fight in the war in Syria. It seems that 2 girls aged 16 and 15 have gone there to take part in jihad. Their families only found out about this after they saw posts that were placed on social media. Now, all of this is developing at the moment. It is worth noticing that there is some scepticism about the legitimacy of some of the photographs that have been put out. It seems that some of these photographs that show the girls surrounded by armed men brandishing AK-47s may have been photographs that we've seen in the past. All of this comes as just the latest in a line of incidences which we've seen in which people from Western Europe have gone to Syria. We saw just recently an 18-year-old man from southern Britain was killed fighting in Syria. We have seen other instances of people from here in Germany, where I am, that have been killed fighting in the conflict.
And earlier we spoke to one Belgian father whose son was groomed into joining the Islamist rebels in Syria. Dmitry Bontnik went to the war-torn country to find his child and bring him back. He says European governments are well aware of the problem of youngsters being drawn to Syria to fight, but are turning the other cheek.
Some youngsters, they are influenced and selected by Muslim friends. Some youngsters, they are influenced by the internet. What is concerning is that all these websites, and there are more than 1,000 radical websites active on the internet worldwide. The governments know that the children are in Syria, they know the locations, they know in which groups the children are, they know who are the leaders from these groups. The governments, they know everything. But the government don't want to take a risk to send people there because they are afraid and they don't want to take responsibility. The real people, the real youngsters who are really radicalized, you will never see them back. They will never come back to Europe. Never.
And now to some news that could shape the future of Syria. The country's lawmakers have announced the presidential election will be held on June the 3rd. The announcement came shortly after a double mortar attack just outside the parliament building in the center of Damascus. The 2 shells killed 5 people, according to state media. The presidential poll will decide who is to rule the country for the next 7 years. President Assad is widely expected to win, despite the 4-year uprising against his rule, which spiraled into civil war.